Chains rattle broken, now we rise. Flag in my hand starts burning the skies. Truth ain't dead, though the liars try. They scream loud, but the words all die. Guys watching hands, praise to the throne. Freedom ain't free, blood built this home. Continue freedom, keep it alive. Red, white, blue, we bleed to survive. Who fight and strive. Continue freedom, keep it alive. Land of the free, ain't bending the knee. Truth in my veins, it's all I see. Patriots roar, no fear in the fight. Continue freedom, stand in the light.
After more than a week on the road, I'm back, guys. Thank y'all for joining me. I appreciate it. If you're new to the channel and you enjoy the content, let's see if my graphics going to go up. There it went. Hit all the free buttons below. It helps the channel. Really helps us out in the algorithm. Junior, good to see you in the chat, my friend. Welcome, welcome. Boy, we've got a lot to talk about tonight. Joe Kent. What in the world happened to Joe Kent? Well, about the same thing that happens to a lot of these other folks. I don't know if they buy into the grift, if this is I don't know if it's about a money thing. It's really strange. We're going to talk about him going on Tucker Carlson within hours of resigning from the Trump administration. And we'll go ahead and take a walk down memory lane here with Joe Kent. So this was Joe Kent back in 2020. And there's a full thread here. I'm going to pull this up as well. So he said we should not sit and wait for the next attack, wipe Iran's ballistic capability out, and get our troops out of Iraq. They are only targets now. So he was all keen on doing something about the Iran situation, which Donald Trump is doing something about it now. This is another thread from back in 2020. He said the war with Iran talk is very black and white in a gray world. Iran has been at war with us since 1979. The killing of QS is the first decisive act we have, which is Soleimani. Is the first decisive act we have taken against Iranian terror since the 80s. The assumption that staying in Iraq to relive OIF or a conventional war with Iran is the only alternative to continued capitulation shows the U.S. government's lack of critical thinking, blah, 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 blah. He was all on board. Welcome from New Zealand, Jennifer, down in the comments. Aaron Roca, welcome. Good to see you. So, yeah, he was all on board with it. Now, look. Let's be intellectually honest here. Can people change their minds? Yeah, they can. They absolutely can. But this doesn't seem to be the case because Joe Kent this was him 3 months ago. So this is 3 months ago on Sean Ryan's podcast. Let's pull up this clip. And this was his opinion back then. I don't know what happened in a 3-month time span, but let's play this.
Like that's the logical conclusion to the they're still registering for the draft, aren't they? Like that's the logical conclusion to the direction that we're heading in right now, unless we make some serious changes.
I mean, I've already heard rumors that Fifth Group is going to be sending guys to Iraq because of the escalated situation with Iran now.
Yeah. I mean, most Americans aren't aware of it. Our troops in Iraq and Syria have been attacked 150 plus times by Iranian proxies. And when we say Iranian proxies, we got to be clear on what that is. That's the Iraqi government that we pay. Because after the Iraqi military we spent $2 trillion on surrendered to ISIS, we had to go back in there in very short order and stand the military back up again. And guess who filled the breach? The Shia militias controlled by Iran did. And the Iraqi government's controlled by Iran.
So I think he's talking about Jaish al-Mahdi. Jaish al-Mahdi was under Sadr in Iraq, and they are Shia. So there was a Sunni minority, a Shia majority, and they had the Sadr family in Iraq that was basically I guess you would call him the matriarch or the figurehead that Saddam had put into power. And they formed the Jaish al-Mahdi. And the Jaish al-Mahdi, when I was there in 2007 to 2009, the Sadrs were basically, it was, and I forget which Sadr it was. Was it Muqtada al-Sadr? I believe, I can't remember, but it was the son of the old man that Saddam Hussein had killed. They basically turned into a militia, and they were run more like the mafia than anything else. But when it came to EFPs and all the explosives that were used against, and the IEDs that were used against U.S. service members, it was Iran that was doing that. So the soldiers that you see from Iraq that lost limbs, and there were countless instances of that when I was over there, that, yeah, this was coming from Iran. We've been fighting. They were fueling the global war on terror, or our opposition to the global war on terror. That's obvious. But this was 3 months ago. He acknowledges that they are a threat. But then he comes out on X and says, well, here, let's see. Did I pull the right one here? Oh, here we go. Yeah. Let's. This is him on Tucker.
In good conscience, support the ongoing war in Iran. Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation. Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation. How did you reach that conclusion?
I think this is key. I mean, this would be more challenging to explain had the Secretary of State, the President, and the Speaker of the House not come out and said that we conducted this attack at this time because the Israelis were about to do so. So that takes away the argument that there was an imminent threat, as in Iran was planning to attack us immediately. That just simply did not exist.
May I ask you to pause? Sure. And so,
this is something that, by the way, Tulsi Gabbard said this during her testimony in front of Congress, that the determination of an imminent threat it's up to the president to make. But Marco Rubio was clear this was going to happen sometime in the next year. They were very upfront about that. Donald Trump's been talking about this since the 80s, 90s, that Iran is a problem, and now that he's in the Oval Office, now that they had opposition in the public against the Ayatollah and against the regime, they saw an opportunity. Israel said they were going to attack. Yes, this was clarified that yes, they are going to attack with us or without us. But I think my understanding is that it was going to be a combat. We're a combat multiplier for an Israeli attack. We might as well go ahead and do it now. We were going to do it eventually anyway. So to say that this was done solely because Israel does this, it's making the accusation that we've discussed on this channel multiple times, that Donald Trump is being led around by those nose rings they put in the prize bulls, just being led around by him, by one of those, by Benjamin Netanyahu. And does that at all equate to the personality of Donald Trump that we have become so familiar with over the years? No, it doesn't. And it's interesting, too, that Joe Kent and Tucker Carlson are both in a similar predicament with the U.S. government, with the Department of Justice. This one came out shortly after Joe Kent resigned, and you guys may have seen this. Let me pull up this clip here. Where'd it go? Here we go. This is the right one, I think. Yeah, here we go. Let's play this one.
Sources are saying that Joe Kent, the former director of the United States National Counterterror Center, this is from Semaphore, he just resigned. He's now under FBI investigation for allegedly leaking classified information. And the investigation predates his departure. Congressman, your reaction to that tonight? Wow.
Well, there's a lot there, and I think that we need to let this investigation play out, but we shouldn't tolerate any leakers in the administration, particularly regarding classified national security interests and information. So we'll let this play out and see where it goes. But if he was leaking, he ought to be held accountable just like anybody else would be.
Now, 5 minutes ago, he seemed to think that Iran was a big threat, and then suddenly that threat went away. It was very odd. Congressman.
So, look, the investigation will play out, and a lot of people are going to run with it that he just is a leaker. It's alleged. He's an alleged leaker right now. Now, Nathan Livingstone, he actually had an interesting post pontificating that Joe Kent could have been one of the people that was leaking to Candace Owens. There's no, I don't necessarily see that other than similar language, but a lot of people on this side of this issue, this particular issue, is the Israel issue, they do use a lot of common verbiage and they use a lot of the same language. So is it possible? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe, but people are going to go ahead and say that he is a leaker, like flat out he is. And that's not the case yet. Let the investigation play out. But the fact that he went running to Tucker Carlson, who I'm going to show you in just a minute, is also under investigation for talking to Iran before the war broke out. It would make sense that someone who is leaking would go to a safe space, start building the narrative first, because the narrative has to be built in their favor. That puts the people making the accusations on the defensive, right? If you come out first, the first person to say something is going to be assumed that they are the truthful one in the situation. So it is a protective measure to, within hours, go on Tucker Carlson, and I guess now he's going to be on Candace Owens. I don't know when that's going to take place, but that would make sense if this is what he's doing.
We've been told that this individual, Robinson, is a lone gunman, and maybe he is. But the investigation that I was a part of, the National Counterterrorism Center was a part of, we were stopped from continuing to investigate. There's still linkage for us to investigate.
Because I'm very aware of what's going on, okay? About 48 hours before Charlie Kirk died, Charlie informed people at Turning Point, as well as Jewish donors and a rabbi, that he had no choice but to abandon the pro-Israel cause outright, okay? Charlie was done. He said it explicitly, that he refused to be bullied anymore by the Jewish donors.
We know the pressure because of the text messages that have been made public, that Charlie was under a lot of pressure from a lot of pro-Israel donors.
He knew, and others knew, that Charlie was done with Israel bullying him, and I am now going to present you proof of what I am saying. This is an actual group chat, which happened 2 days before Charlie Kirk was assassinated.
That was a screen grab that I had shared with people. So it is authentic. But I did share it with some people in government. We wanted no stone unturned. We wanted to leave nothing unturned. So I shared it with a few people. Don't know where it went from there, apparently.
Sources are saying that Joe Kent, the former director of the United States.
And then we just saw that. So these are the lines that are being drawn. I'll be honest, I love Nathan Livingstone, but this one seems a bit weak. However, it's a possibility, but I'm not going to run with it as though this is factual yet. These folks, the ideology that's driving them, or I guess you would say let me put it this way. Tucker Carlson goes after evangelicals for about their support for Israel, or over their support for Israel. And he does it with the same, he is opposed to it with the same level of fervor that a lot of evangelicals are for it. So he's criticizing them, saying, oh, this, whatever this Bible is that you believe about them being God's chosen people. I'm not getting into the theology of it tonight. I'm just saying that this is the argument that he's making. And he makes the same in the negative with an equal amount of fervor against Israel. I find it interesting, and it's become this theological debate. I just look at it for what it is. I look at it as an ally in the Middle East, which is Israel. I look at us giving, by the way, I did the math on this. Israel, we give them $3.8 billion a year. If you take U.S. spending and you lay it out over 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, how much of our taxpayer time is given to that $3.8 billion to earn that or for them to take, I guess the government's taking that $3.8 billion. It's 4.75 hours out of a year. With 24 hours in a day, 365 days a year, it's 4.75 hours of our yearly spending. I find that to be, and by the way, 90% of that, it's the memorandum of understanding that we have with Israel is that they spend 75% of that back here in the U.S. In 500,000 or 500 million of it is set aside for the Iron Dome, and that gets spent back here in the U.S. as well. So it really comes out to somewhere around 90% of that money gets spent back here in the U.S. And yet, the Tucker Carlsons of the world, the Candace Owens of the world, everybody that jumps on board this, Israel is the enemy of mankind bandwagon, they say that kids can't afford college. Well, why? Because we're giving $3.8 billion. We're giving 4.75 hours of our year to Israel. that they look at the world through a soda straw. If you could, we see it about 50 millimeters, right? I'm a camera guy, so that's what we see. You've got your peripherals. It's actually like 35 millimeters, but you have your peripheral vision. These people look at the world through a soda straw, and at the end of that soda straw is the Israeli flag, and they see its imprint on everything bad that happens, because we're on social media and we're looking at all the trash that's going on in the world. They look through that soda straw, and that's the only thing that they can see at the end of it. We don't. We have a wider perspective. We understand nuance on this show. I have an audience here. Tracy, Ben, the Mod King, Junior, Im Summers. I always forget how to pronounce your name. Im Summers. We've got, let's see, Jennifer. We understand nuance on this channel. People in that world, they can't. This is the other piece of this. Joe Kent, he went to Tucker Carlson, and Tucker Carlson, I have to play this as a reminder to everybody. We've seen it before, but for the new folks on this channel, this is who they're going to. This is their arbiter of truth over on the Israel sucks side of the aisle.
U.S. aid, military aid to Israel, and the implied security guarantees, some explicit, but many implied security guarantees of the United States to Israel, probably haven't helped Israel that much long term. It's a rich country with a highly capable population. Like every other country, it's probably best if it makes its decisions based on what it can do by itself. That country couldn't exist not for a week without U.S. backing.
America's supporting Israel because it's an ally.
I don't even know what those words mean. I'm just saying principle.
They're an ally, right? They both.
I don't know what that means to be an ally.
Qatar is like one of our closest allies in the world. The largest American air base in the Middle East is in Qatar. They're a close ally of ours.
Let me get to the nub of the question, since again, a lot is at stake. A lot of money is at stake. Land is very valuable. Israel has a lot of resources. We have a huge country. This is a country the size of New Jersey with no resources. I come to Israel and the infrastructure.
That was in the same interview, by the way.
We were flying in, and I said to my buddy, I was like, man, first of all, it looks great. I love the agriculture in Israel because it's just beautiful. I love green. I love plants.
I remember when it didn't look like that.
Yeah.
First time I came in 53 years ago.
It's great. Israel, which is one of the single ugliest countries in the world. Nothing of beauty has been built there since 1948. Sorry, I've been everywhere in that country, and it's true. Hamas is a group of jihadis. They're Islamic extremists, which they also claim constantly. Which I don't know if that's true, by the way. It seems more like a political organization.
Raised some eyebrows this week when you said that Hamas is more like a political organization than a terror group.
I didn't say that. An attack on Western civilization looks like this. It's tribalism. It's identity politics. It's DEI. It's whatever. It's Zionism. It's any belief system that begins with the understanding that one group is morally superior to other groups.
Well, just on principle, like every other group in the world has the right to its own homeland except white people? Like what?
We don't think in terms of groups as Christians or Westerners. We think in terms of the individual. It's literally that simple.
But as long as some groups have a right to self-determination, then every group has a right. It's that simple.
I love Nathan Livingstone. He does the absolute best mashups. So shout out to him. Go follow Milk Bar TV, Nathan Livingstone over on X. Great account. I will push as much support his way as I possibly can. But Ben says, I'm catching up. I'm at one and a half times speed. Here, let me put up that comment. Keep it up, buddy. You'll get there, man. Watch fast. So, this has kind of become a thing. I was thinking about it leading up to the show. What's an effective comparison for the people that are doing this ritualistic, it's quitting and making a big statement about Israel and getting on board those particular talking points. It's kind of like in Hollywood. I don't know if you've seen the people who say they do the like John Cena. When John Cena went onto the stage and he was like naked, just covering himself with some cue card. It was this ritualistic humiliation sort of thing. It almost feels like that with the grand way that these people come out and claim their allegiance to the anti-Israel side. And over here on our side, we say we support Israel. Israel doesn't do everything right. We have the right to critique Israel just like we have the right to critique the United States. It's a country, it's an ally. We have common enemies. Iran is a common enemy, has been for a long time, ever since the Ayatollah took over. And we can understand the nuances behind it. Case in point, with Israel striking that massive oil field in Iran, I believe the largest one in the world, Donald Trump came out and said, "We are not on board with this. This is not okay." He publicly chastised them for doing that. He said, "We had nothing to do with it. Qatar had nothing to do with it." He put them on blast to the entire world. That's not him kowtowing to them. He would be making excuses for them doing it. Instead, he chastised them in front of everybody. And that's the way it's supposed to be handled. I was waiting for something like that to happen, to be honest, that they kind of get over their skis sometimes. And, they think, well, we'll do it, and it's better to ask for forgiveness than for permission. So I was waiting for something big like that to happen. And it's going to have catastrophic effects, not just now, but in the future. When we go to, when Iran, the people take over, if it's the new Shah that comes in temporarily or whatever it happens to be, when the next run of leadership comes in, when the people are trying to rebuild what we are currently blowing to smithereens, although it's mostly just military targets, but when they go in to rebuild, they have to have an economy. Blowing up the largest oil field in the country or in the world is not going to help that. Trump knows it. He knows it. Because once we get friendly leadership, if this regime change works, and if is the biggest word in everything I'm saying here, the if is the biggest. If we do have a successful change of leadership in Iran, those people are going to be on our side, and another massive oil reserve is going to favor us over our other opponents in the geopolitical spectrum, and that is China and Russia and these other the BRICS nations, really, when it comes to the people that are trying to replace our reserve currency or our status as the world reserve currency. Yeah, all this stuff has to come together. Israel made a monstrous mistake, and the retaliation from Iran by striking Qatar is going to have impacts on us soon, very soon. I mean, even immediately, I would say. But if you look at gas prices, my wife went to go put gas in her car, and her car requires premium, and that premium gas was it was over $4 a gallon, and we're in rural East Tennessee. So we're already seeing the impacts of it. And we're gonna be in a pinch. We are. We don't want to make it worse. Israel didn't help by bombing, even though we're not getting Iranian oil. That really hurts China and Russia more than anybody else. But this back to the Joe Kent and Tucker thing. This is a psyop. This is a coordinated effort. This was posted by Eyal Yacobi. And this is, look, let me pull this up here so you guys can see it. These are the accounts that immediately started sharing it. These are the pro-Iranian side of social media. They're all sharing the clips. These clips were shared by Iranian state TV. They're playing Tucker Carlson, and they've been playing Tucker Carlson for a while. We highlighted that on a previous show, that's one of their favorite people. There was a podcast, and a bunch of podcast hosts were Muslim podcast hosts, and they say that we really have to keep an eye on, these are pro-Sharia podcasters. They say we have to keep an eye on Tucker Carlson. We have to support Tucker Carlson because Tucker Carlson has been out here stumping for Sharia law. He's been stumping for the U.S. to essentially become more like the Middle East. And, I played that flip-flopping clip of him where he's back and forth. I don't think they really know what they believe. I really don't. I think it's kind of like, well, actually, let me play a clip. I was going to play this. There is language in this one, so my apologies for that. Guys know I try to keep it PG-13, but I've been failing at that in the past few shows. This is Cenk Uygur, and when I heard Cenk Uygur, I said, you know what? This is the outward expression of Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, everybody else's internal monologue. So when you hear Cenk Uygur here on Piers Morgan, just imagine this in the mind of Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens. And, to some degree, Nick Fuentes, although Nick Fuentes has kind of started to soften his position a bit, I think. I haven't been watching him much lately, but he was at least a month or two ago. Listen to this. This is, it's about 4 minutes, but you'll get the idea.
Let me wade through all the lies that have been said. So if you notice, before the war, people like Ben Ferguson were saying, oh, we're not necessarily going to attack. Donald Trump's a peace president. He's not going to attack. He's not going to put in ground troops. That's not what I said ever. Yeah.
I never said it. Go find a video. Go look at YouTube. Listen to any one of my shows. I never said that. So not one damn time.
Piers, this is why I shout on your program, because every time I start talking, some Israel first son of a bitch comes in and starts talking over me. Hey, you made America all your Israeli
right
talking
there.
points
American
already.
flag, bro.
Be
There's
quiet.
Right
My ass.
Yeah.
Okay, see, here it goes again.
Cenk,
so then here's the other line.
Cenk, for 15 minutes, you managed to stay relatively calm. Don't blow it now.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's what Israel First does. They just jabber. Anyway, so here we go. So then Ben said, and all the Israel First clowns said, oh, we're doing this for the Iranian protesters. And once we start bombing them and murdering them, they're going to love us. And now he's saying, well, of course the protesters can't come out in the streets.
Never said that either.
We're bombing them. We're bombing them.
Pretty impressive.
That's what we said. All right.
Yeah,
all right, here we go. Will you shut the fuck up? Will you shut up?
If you're putting words in my mouth that I never said,
Israeli talking points.
Be quiet. I'll never be quiet when you put lies into my mouth of things I never said.
That's why we have to shout on this show, because these assholes won't shut the fuck up.
All right, just to be clear. Just to be clear.
I'm going to skip forward a little bit.
Happening. If we told them ahead of time, someone gave them $100 million to all say the same thing, we'd go, well, then we're a little bit more skeptical, to say the least. So that is what's happening with our politicians. Israel has given Congress $100 million. They've given Donald Trump $337 million. So this is all a fake conversation.
But these are tiny amounts of money. They spent billions on day one of the war.
You're cutting me off, Piers.
These are tiny amounts of money you're talking about.
You're making up crap.
Tiny amounts of money. Yeah. Piers, are you mental?
Do you know how much got spent? Do you know how much got spent on day one of the war?
$337 million that the Adelsons have given to Donald Trump because he is corrupt and easily purchasable. The Adelsons are corrupt and Israelis. The Israeli Adelsons gave Jonathan Pollard a trip on their private jet back to Israel and celebrated him like a hero because they love people betraying America for Israel.
But you don't think I
can prove it. So tell me if we should put American troops or Israeli troops in. Okay, why are we putting our guys in? Ben Ferguson, that traitor, said that it was no big deal that 13 Americans died. It's a huge deal that 13 Americans died. Why do you send your goddamn...
Never said it. So when you hear that, this is the internal dialogue, I think, with these people. And it's pretty... I think it's pretty fitting. There's a certain level of hate that comes with this, but in their mind, they're having debates in their mind, I believe, and this is projected in their programming. Them being Candace Tucker, all the people we've talked about tonight, and they are projecting this in their mind and having arguments that actually aren't there. They use the term Israel first, as if we say, well, we're pushing America to the side and we just support Israel, or that we support Israel over America and our own troops. And that is not the case. It's never been the case. Yet that's the argument that they make. And they say, well, $300 million from the Adelsons. Okay, how much did the unions invest over the years in... They invested billions of dollars in getting Obama and Hillary Clinton into those campaigns. Billions of dollars have been invested. To say that money in politics, I mean, yeah, I don't like the fact that these big donors can buy access to our politicians. It's the system that we have now, and it's a failed system that needs to be fixed. But he acts like he's innocent, like his side is innocent. And the only issue that they have is that it's Israel. I thought too, by the way, about imagine that let's think back to, or let's make a fictitious scenario here where the UK is being bombed by France and Italy and all of these other places, right? All these people around them. Why? Because they're Brits, right? Just because they're Brits. We don't like them because they're Brits, and they need to be wiped off the face of the earth because they're Brits. Do you think we would come to the rescue of Brits? Do you think we would be involved in, or let's use a different country. Say Germany was attacking other countries, just relentlessly attacking other countries. Would we get involved to help our allies? Maybe we would. And when you've got it's different too, because this isn't the spread of communism or socialism or anything like that. This is the spread of something that is entirely, socialism and communism are antithetical to the West, and they're antithetical to our constitutional representative republic. But this is an ideology that Israel is up against that is an ideology of conquest. It does not believe that America should exist or America can exist, but it has to exist under Sharia law. They think about the countries that used to be Christian countries that are over there. They have been taken over through conquest. Lebanon, Syria, Egypt. I mean, all these countries were Christian countries at one point in time. No longer. Do we have a common enemy at least in that respect? Yeah, I think we do. But they flood their feeds with this stuff. And people that are, look, we could say they're trusting maybe. They look to big audience. You know, big audience means credibility. Big audience means you're right all the time. This is Tucker Carlson's feed. This was as of yesterday, so I pulled these yesterday. Guys, look at common thread here, maybe. Israel, religious war, Israel, poisoning your food. Okay, there you go. God's chosen people, you know, Mike Huckabee, he got in on that one. The Department of Justice and corruption. They're watching, and then Rand Paul. I mean, this is like it's everywhere. They cannot talk about anything else, and so they say we're Israel first. That's our primary concern. It's all they ever talk about. I mean, to the point we could say that maybe they're the Israel first folks, not in support, but in the negative. We're just over here saying, hey, we've got a common enemy, and we're fighting them. And who are we going to support? We're going to support the U.S. But this arguing with apparitions, this is clever because Tucker does it all the time. He says, well, they say, or they are doing this. This is true. We know this to be true. Of course, it's true. Making a statement, saying that it's true does not make it true. We know that. But the person who doesn't know whether they're just taking his word for it. That's why I say these microphones there comes a great deal of responsibility with it. I'm going to give you my opinion. You're more than welcome to disagree with me down in the comment section, and people do all the time, and that's okay. It's perfectly fine. Some people just come out and say, well, you're getting your $7,000, and then I point them to the Thomas Massey from the Farouk, is it Farouk or Marouk, whatever the family was, where he was getting $7,000 payments from them. I don't get paid, by the way. Make a paltry amount of money in AdSense, but I'm a small channel. Until you guys all everybody who watches this hits all those free buttons below, which will help the channel out. I appreciate it. But Joe Kent has also gotten in on the Charlie Kirk thing. This infuriates me. Let me make sure I've got the right one. And this is, oh yeah, here we go. So in addition to going on Tucker Carlson and saying that, oh, Israel, screaming Israel at the top of his lungs, he starts invoking the name of Charlie Kirk and saying that Charlie Kirk was on his side in all of this. Listen to this.
And then, Charlie Kirk is killed publicly in a very horrific way, and we're not really even allowed to look into that at all. And Charlie Kirk was one of President Trump's closest advisors, and he also advocated heavily against a war with Iran. He was in the Oval Office in the lead up to the 12-day war. I wasn't particularly close with Charlie. He was very gracious to me when I was running for Congress, very, very supportive. So we knew each other. And the last time I saw Charlie Kirk on this earth was in June in the West Wing, in the stairway. And I said hi to him, and he looked me in the eye, and he said very loudly, and you've been in the West Wing, it's small, it's a tight space. And he said, Joe, stop us from getting into a war with Iran. Very loudly.
He was single-minded.
And he walked off, and he went, I believe, into the Oval. So when one of President Trump's closest advisors, who is vocally advocating for us to not go to war with Iran and for us to rethink at least our relationship with the Israelis, and then he's suddenly publicly assassinated, and we're not allowed to ask any questions about that.
You are responsible for counterintelligence for the largest, most powerful government in the world. You're not who said don't ask questions? This is the problem. They say we're not allowed to ask questions. What aren't you allowed to ask questions about, Joe Kent? You had one of the most powerful intel positions in the country. Who said don't ask questions about this? You can ask whatever questions you want. Answer, we'll never get one. They'll say, well, those people out there say, you can't ask questions. What people? Who? Who said it?
It's a data point. It's a data point that we need to look into.
What do you mean when you say we're not allowed to ask any questions about that?
And data point, here you go. Innuendo, no evidence. It's a data point. Well, this is the difference between proof and evidence. And it drives me bonkers that so many people are saying, oh, I've got evidence of this, evidence of that. Evidence is, think of it as, it's like the big pile. This is how I explain it to people. And you know, when you have proof of something, that leads your evidence to the conclusion. So the evidence is all supporting whatever accusation or whatever conclusion you're trying to reach. You have all this evidence that could point towards that. There's good evidence and there's bad evidence. But this is why they're collecting all this stuff, right? You get this little hair follicle here. Think about a crime scene. This hair follicle here, this fingerprint here. Some of the evidence is crap evidence. Some of the evidence is good. They say, we've got evidence. Well, what's the proof? Show me the proof. Nobody does that. They fling around this word evidence, but they never give proof. And why? Because it is much more profitable to bring up any random piece of evidence that you can come across, sling it out into the ether, into the public sphere, and let people chew on it because you pitch it out there as though it's proof, and it's not. He says, those people. And I can't talk about it. You know, that's always the tricky thing, right? I can't say. Just trust me. The guy who's under investigation for leaking. Just trust me. You know, I've seen some folks online too that they say he's a decorated war veteran. And yeah, he is. He is. God bless him for that. But that, just like I wouldn't call myself a decorated war veteran. I'm a war veteran, but I don't get a pass. That's not a pass to say and do what you want. It also doesn't mean we have, after Vietnam, when the veterans were treated like absolute trash, there was this, it was like this national guilt almost. And once we came around to the global war on terror, we had this such heroic. I mean, the support was amazing. It was beautiful. I loved it. I loved seeing it. People were clapping for soldiers in the airport. It was the complete opposite of what we saw post-Vietnam. And what a blessing that was, that the American people rallied around their young men and women who went into harm's way, who went to faraway lands, who broke relationships, and who had, put families through struggle, because it's not just the soldiers. I mean, I could go on and on about the sacrifice of not just the soldiers, but the families and the mothers and the fathers and the ones that were lost. I mean, it goes on and on and on. But it almost took veterans to this mythical level of superiority, and that's not the case. We're just, veterans are men and women who are willing to do something, but that doesn't mean that once they get into some seat of power or that they, take some leadership position in the government, they get entrenched in the bureaucracy, that they remain, that they're some infallible being. That's not the case. So we have to draw a line with that. We can't use it as a cop-out. I hope that doesn't sound insensitive, but I don't really care. That's what I think. And, I've talked about the effects of all this. Well, the effects of all this on Donald Trump and MAGA, this divide, it doesn't seem to be bothering MAGA at all. Donald Trump still has his support. Now, the overall Republican Party, I worry less about MAGA. MAGA is very loyal to Donald Trump. Listen to these numbers of MAGA supporters. It's crazy. Well, if they're true, we know polling has some margin of error, but even with the margin of error, this is pretty wild. Check this out.
And this is one of those, because just take a look here. MAGA GOP view of Trump. Approve 100%. 100%. If you are a member of MAGA and the GOP, you approve of Donald John Trump. 0% say that they disapprove. You don't have to be a mathematical genius to know you can't go higher than 100%. He is the 1972 Miami Dolphins. Now, there are some Republicans who disapprove of Donald John Trump, but they are not members of the Make America Great Again movement. The bottom line is this: if you are a member of MAGA, you approve of of Donald Trump.
It's interesting, though, because there have been a couple prominent people who have sort of come out online, and they're very mad about this war with Iran because he promised no new wars. Is there any sign that people might be leaving MAGA relative to 2024?
Yeah, okay. So, I've said it before, and, the theme of this segment is Tucker Carlson be darned. And when we look at the numbers, I mean, I've heard some people say, oh, you know what, when you look at those MAGA numbers, it doesn't account for those who might have left MAGA. But take a look here. Americans who identify as MAGA, in November of 2024, it was 28% of Americans. Now it's basically the same. If anything, it's slightly higher at 30%. The bottom line is this. The MAGA base within the GOP is not shrinking. It's the same size. If anything, it is slightly larger than it was back in 2024 when, of course, Donald Trump won a second term. So that 100% that Donald Trump has approval among MAGA GOP, that is not an artifact of MAGA shrinking. It's just an indication of how strong Donald Trump's grip is on that MAGA base.
And so I guess that begs the question of what's happening with inside the GOP and if there are any splits there, because with those kind of numbers, they're going to want to retain that, right? So they can retain their seats.
Yes. And you know what we're talking about, we mentioned Iran in the intro of this segment, GOP on U.S. military action in Iran. Look at this. In MAGA, it's 90% approval. It's 90% approval, just 5% disapproval. If you disapprove of the job that Donald Trump is doing, the U.S. military action in Iran, and you're a member of the GOP, look at this. It's your non-MAGA. You're non-MAGA. It's 36% there, 54% approve. But the majority of Republicans approve of the job that the U.S. military action is in Iran, and the majority of MAGA, which is the majority of the GOP, very much approve, 90%. Very little split in Donald Trump's base. Those who disapprove in the GOP, simply put, they hate MAGA.
And that's true. But that's also what's going to help us in the next election. So I think Trump realizes, at least I hope he does, I'm fairly certain that he has done the political math on this, that this thing needs to be wrapped up quick, fast, and in a hurry. And I don't know, he's not one to telegraph, and that's kind of why we have to trust the guy. We elected him to see the intel that we can't see, make the decisions that we can't make and aren't qualified to make because we don't have the intel and we don't have the know-how and we don't have the advisors and the people that are out there guiding him in one direction or the other. He's the decision maker. That's what the president is. So I trust that he is thinking, 2, 3, 4, and 5 levels deep on this thing. But he also knows that the midterms are coming up. This thing needs to be wrapped up. It needs to be relatively successful by the time the midterms roll around. And I hate to make it all about politics, but that's very important. If we're going to have an effective Donald Trump in the last 2 years of his term, we need to lock in the midterms. And the people that I worry about are the ones that follow the Candace Owens of the world, the Tucker Carlsons, the Nick Fuenteses, the grifters over at, well, I don't even want to call them grifters, just the little, mud slingers and dust kickers over on the Republican side who are doing their best to try and break this apart. The ones who say that we need to vote for Democrats instead of Republicans. Like, in what world is that even reasonable? And some of these purport to be Christians. Like Nick Fuentes says, well, I'm a Catholic and vote Democrat. Well, okay, if you're a Catholic, maybe you don't know that the most pro-life, some of those pro-life people and representatives out there are Catholics. You're voting for child sacrifice, which is what that is. Sorry, I'm probably going to get demonetized for saying that. But, there's some major ideological things that say, as a conservative Christian, you can't vote for a Democrat. Morally, it is wrong to do that. Charlie Kirk said the same thing, by the way, so I'm not new here. But yeah, I worry about that divide, and I worry about it for the long haul. Because we're not going to get it all done. Sorry, we're not going to get it all done in Donald Trump's presidency. I came in with googly eyes thinking Donald Trump in a short period of time was going to completely turn this whole thing on a dime. And those of us that, like all the folks out here in this audience and all my regular watchers, that this is like turning a battleship around in a very narrow waterway. It's going to be about a 200-point turn to get this ship going in the other direction. And that means it's another presidency. It means post-Donald Trump, we need another Republican. And we're never going to have another Donald Trump, but somebody who at least understands that that the majority of the Republican Party wants us to move on a MAGA-type path. And we've got to learn to ignore the Marjorie Taylor Greens of the world who are saying, they're just Israel first. No, we're not. It's a childish argument. So anyway, I ain't taking their loyalty pledge. Let's the ones over on the so Donald Trump. Anyway, let me get back to it. I digress. Donald Trump's base is intact. Let's get to some comments. That's what I'm looking forward to. Let's see. So many comments. Golly, y'all are having conversations down here. I thought you were gone all week because your flu bug came back. No, man. I was on the road. I was in communist California, although it was Orange County, so a little bit more conservative. It was actually very nice. So I was out there shooting some video on a project, and yeah. Whoa, Aaron, tell me what you really think. Whew. Hi from New Zealand, Jennifer. It's always good to have you back. I appreciate you coming back on. Some of these turncoats politicians just in your face, treasonous. Whatever happened to shame? Yeah, they, it's an obsession for them. It really is. It's just an obsession for them. Hey, good to see you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Joe Kent took the envelope money for sure. Nobody's really. He took the envelope. Oh goodness. Oh yeah, from Australia. Oh, poor Australia. You guys are in a hurt lock. When are you going to get some? I don't know. When are you going to get some conservatives going on down there? Let's see, Jen. Let's see. Hey, well, welcome. First time you called alive. Congratulations. Welcome to the chat. That's great. I need to be better about. I'm going to do some more longer watches, like some longer videos, and we'll just sit. And that way I can really listen to the programming, but I can hone in on the chat a bit more. I have all these thoughts in my head. I've said this on other podcasts that I'm just sitting here with these things in my mind. I'm reading the news. I'm paying attention to what's going on. And then I'm like, I have to say this. I have to say this out loud. Otherwise it's going to eat a hole in the back of my head. So I do. And that's why the chat's, live stream's fun. I get the chat. I get the feedback. It's fantastic. So welcome, Lasha. Lashasta Fox. Lashasta? Is that right? That's an interesting name, if that's the case. Let's see. She does. I listen to. I play her clips with. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I need to just let it play because I've already listened to the clip. Turn my volume down and just let it roll. It's pretty nauseating to listen to her. That's what I don't understand. I think it has to be mostly bots. It really has to be. Good to be back, Ben. Thanks for coming in, man. Ben the Mod King. Ben mods so many channels. He's on, he mods, I don't know, 3-4 channels. He is the Mod King, that's for sure. Let's see. Here you go. Thank you, Future. Yes, Future posted Milk Bar TV on YouTube. Go check it out. Another one of our mods. Good to see you, Future. Joe is doing an interview with Candace today at the Catholics for Catholics events. Interesting. Okay. Catholics for Catholics. Wow. Gary Brett said he might go to the ask people. Oh, that would be interesting. Oh, I would love to know if Gary, if you watch this, make it happen, dude. I would love to see that. Oh, no. Here we go. Already running out of petrol we call it gas, but that's okay. Petrol and diesel down in Australia, talking of rationing next month. It's going to get worse, guys. I'm telling you. It with the Strait of Hormuz, the situation there, with Qatar being hit, it takes a while for us to get our infrastructure back up and rolling. I was talking to my wife about this, and she actually keeps a really close beat on that stuff, and she said that this is like the infrastructure we're trying to build up now is brutal for us to get drilling again. And Trump said, "Drill, baby, drill." That's part of our success plan, But we're going to be in a pinch. Like this is going to happen. But I think it's temporary. If Trump can get us drilling again, if he can, lax some of the regulations, if Congress can do something about it, that would be fantastic. But let's see. Can you imagine paying $1,200 to hear the Timu Catholics? Oh, that's funny. Yeah, that's a good question. Is that how much tickets were? $1,200? Good grief. Chunky, saved in Virginia. Chunky yogurt. Yeah, talking about Chunky yogurt. I forget that one. You said that one before. You've used that name before. I need to remember that one. In fact, I ought to write it down. What do they say? Write it on your forehead so you don't forget. Yep, it's always the woke right. Jennifer thought it was funny. Future is the mod queen. She's modding a lot too. Yeah. Let's see. Chank's gonna stroke out. I think about this every time Chank gets on, on one of these shows. It's how does that guy get billions of views a year? It really blows my mind. It's rage porn is really what it is. That's what he peddles, and Anna Kasparian is much the same. Anna Kasparian, she is They're just obsessed with it's just the anger. It's no different. In fact, this is why I say that Chunky Yogurt, we'll call him Chunky Yogurt, getting on Piers Morgan and yelling, that's the outward expression of the internal dialogue going on in all of these the anti-Israel people on the right. That's it. And I say this all the time that I listen to people, what they say, follow it all the way to its final end state. What would that look like geopolitically? What would that look like morally? And look, I feel very comfortable and confident that I'm on the right side of this when it comes to this debate about Israel. And the vitriol and hate and nastiness that comes from the other side, it automatically triggers in my brain that they're not going down a moral path. We can disagree with Israel and the things that they do, but that anti-Israel crowd it's vile. It's very vile. Let's see. Don't worry, I hit the like button twice. I double liked it. Well, that means you unliked it if you hit it twice. Oh, that's funny. I pulled 100 women. Oh, Stephen. Okay, I'm putting it up. That's pretty funny. That's a good joke. Wow. North Carolina in the house. Thanks for the joke, man. I appreciate it. We got to laugh. You got to laugh to keep from crying. Oh, my goodness gracious. I'm always shocked at how readily they go vile, but I shouldn't be surprised. Yeah. Well, when your whole ideology is based on hating another people group. This is what I say when I go hard against Islam. It's not the people. It's not. It's the ideology. I have zero problem with the Arab people because they're beautiful, wonderful, sweet, kind people. I've met a lot of them, and they're wonderful. But the ideology of Islam, when it's followed to its full measure, is, and at the very least, antithetical to Western civilization. But it also leads to conquest and terror and subversion of women and, a lack of rights to the citizenry, convert or die, these sorts of things. Yeah, it's CENK is how you spell it. Lashasta, yeah. I know. I haven't gotten a $7,000 post in a while. I haven't gotten a $7,000 post in a minute. But people, when they do, I always pull it up. I'm like, there you go. The low IQ folks coming after me. You got nothing else. If that's all you've got, that you think I'm getting paid $7,000 for a post. Promethean Action. If you want to know exactly what Trump is doing, Susan Kokinda. I'll have to check that out, Ranger Ray. I don't know anything about it. I don't know, who that person is, but I'll certainly check it out. Thanks for that. Let me, in fact, I'm going to screenshot that so I can check it out after the show and see what that's all about. Even if it's not something, this is the beauty of having a show like this. It forces me to listen to the people that I do not agree with, and that's a good thing. That's really a good thing for all of us. I've sat down and listened to entire, I've binge watched David Pakman of all people, and it's mind numbing, and you want to scratch your eyeballs out, or get out and roll around in broken glass and Tabasco sauce rather than bear another minute of it. But I do it anyway because you got to know what the other side is saying. I implore anybody that watches this channel to hop on and listen to some of the crazy lefties. Know what they're saying. That dude should never play poker with his face given away. Let's see. Yeah, that's it. It's a data point. I'm just asking questions. I'm so tired of that, by the way. It is exhausting. I'm just asking questions. It's innuendo. And people who listen. So if you've got, I don't care if you've got me, I've got like 2,500. I haven't checked my subscriber count in a while, but I'm a relatively small channel. I'll be bigger if everybody hits all those free buttons below and you share this content and go over on X, follow me over on X. It's very helpful over there as well. But I'm a small channel. These bigger channels, it doesn't matter. If you're sitting in front of a camera, you've done a lot of research and you pitch your ideas or you pitch your opinion, people are going to take it as the gospel in a lot of cases. I have a great audience that probably questions some of the stuff that I say, and that's not a bad thing. Or they'll correct me if I say something wrong, and I'm good with that. But they see a Tucker Carlson or whoever, and they just assume that it's the gospel. They listen to Candace Owens, and they say, well, Candace Owens is a millionaire. She's got millions of followers. Obviously, she's right. Obviously, she knows what she's talking about. And that's just not true. In fact, it's the exact opposite. So I get frustrated, and the reason you guys, my regular viewers know this, but I do this because I hate seeing my fellow Americans being duped. I don't like it. I hate it. It used to be just the mainstream media, CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CBS, and NPR, and anybody else, any other major news outlet. That was my motivation. Now I'm doing it to people over on the right, people that I used to trust, like Tucker Carlson. I loved playing Tucker Carlson clips back in the day. But Israel derangement syndrome has warped his brain. And he can't see anything else. Let's see. Here's Junior, you make a good point. I'm just waiting for someone to actually get in trouble for breaking the law. This is a valid critique of the Trump administration. It's a valid critique. We're not, we know there's a deep state. We know that there's nefarious actors out here. Give us a little bit of justice, Mr. President. And I understand too that the investigations, they don't move at lightning speed, and nor should they. Because if you're going to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. But anyway, some people just can't handle it. Exactly. Don't realize we're always hard on our own. Exactly. Don't they realize we are always harder on our own? This isn't new. Yeah, we are. See, Jennifer, you make a great point here. We are hard on our side. We're a big tent and we don't walk lockstep, and that can be a good thing. But I think the bad part of it is, the dishonesty is a different thing. I mean, I think we know that. So that's really what I'm calling out. We need to criticize Trump when Trump does something wrong, or at least point it out. That doesn't mean we overall say, well, or we make this overarching statement that I'm just out of MAGA. No, it's like the guy's he's been in a year, just slightly over a year. I give him a lot of have been giving him a lot of grace, and will continue to do so because he's accomplished an awful lot in that year. But we are hard on our own. You're 100% right. Yeah. Don't be a doomer, Junior. That's it. Let's see. I don't know what a bumper stumper. Oh, I thought you said bumper sticker. Let's see. Shasta is fine. Okay, I got you. I'll try to remember that. Let's see. Junior was sure under defense. I did. I made it out of California alive. I ran into this very sweet couple from Louisiana, and she was like, I told her I was stationed down in Louisiana for a while. And she said, oh, I'm wearing red, white, and blue. You think anybody's going to care around here? I'm like, no, you're in Orange County. Like, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. Yeah, 2 goats and a dog. Still one of the best handles on the internet. Yes, Europe and Australia. But they voted for it. It's up to them to vote them out. Like individual personal responsibility. You don't have to keep voting for these wild lefties. You can get some conservatives in there. That like in the UK, for all of his, he's got a ton of faults. Tommy Robinson is trying to make things more conservative, but he's got a pretty checkered past. He's a soccer hooligan or a football hooligan, whatever. That was in his past, but I don't know. Let's see. Hey, Natalie, welcome aboard. That's okay. Better late than never. Better late than never. Oh, Ben's got it right here. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, share the show. Turn on all the notifications. That's right, buddy. Hit all those free buttons below, everybody. It really helps us out. The algorithm's going to hate me for taking almost a whole week off. Well, over a week off. But, I got to pay them bills. Maybe if I'll start getting those $7,000 checks, I'll be, Oh, gosh. When the episode... when they play... Old mean lady says, when the IRGC plays Tucker on state TV, do they pay a licensing fee without registering with FARA? They do. He's been burning up the airwaves over in Iran. They love him. That's hilarious. Okay. Oh, welcome to the right side, Shasta. Welcome to the right side. That's, this is interesting. I was talking to a buddy of mine. We're talking about getting together and having a young person. He's got a daughter who is in her 20s, and she's had a ton of questions. All of her friends lean very liberal. And we're talking about having her on to let her ask all the questions that all of her friends are asking and say, all right, well, we'll answer them from our perspective. I think it could be valuable. So if I can get that put together, we will we'll have her on, and have a civil discussion, not somebody just sitting there yelling at them, but say, this is why we believe what we believe. This is why this is good, bad, indifferent, so on and so forth. And other liberals can be brought over to conservatism. I think if people knew it's the lovey, you can let me know what changed you. If there was, well, in fact, let me ask you that, Shasta. Was there one particular thing that said, okay, now the liberalism has crossed the line, I'm no longer on board with this? Or was it just a collection of things? It was something over time? Was it as you got older? Because I think I heard you say you were a child of the 80s. I am too, so we're about the same age. Was it just as you aged, you said, oh, I'm becoming more and more conservative? I would be interested to know. Let's see. I saw you said something else about North Carolina. I saw it and I scrolled past it. I used to be a liberal. What was it? You would crash out if you went on Piers. Yeah. I saw another post in here about North Carolina that you said. Where was it? I'm in North Carolina. I saw it and then I scrolled past it. There you go. I love Tommy. I was a hooligan too, but now I'm listening to Continue Freedom. That's right. Oh, it's fantastic. Where was that post? So many comments, which I'm incredibly appreciative for, guys. I love the interaction. I'm going to find your comment in here, Shasta. Where was it? Well, maybe I'm wrong. Oh, you're in Western North Carolina. Okay. Beautiful country. I saw you said something about your governor. I'm trying to find it. Oh, here it is. There it is. I'm in North Carolina. Our governor signed a proclamation acknowledging Ramadan. Wow. And, Western North Carolina, that's up in the mountains. Beautiful country up there. Unless you're in like Asheville, places like that. I mean, Asheville is way, way, way progressive, like way progressive. And honestly, most of the big cities are. It's that way even in Southwest Virginia. You get into Roanoke and places like that. You get into East Tennessee, where I am. You get into Knoxville, it's purple. Nashville is blue. Memphis is blue. Those bigger cities. 180 years worth, I knew was true. There you go. You are a hooligan. I can tell by your chats, Junior. You've been chatting on this channel for a long time. I can tell you're a hooligan, man. I mean that with all affection, my friend. So I had to face, Mean Old Lady says, I had to face multiple situations and events that were 180 degrees from what I thought I knew was true and what was reported over a 6-year period, and that turned me into a conservative. So it was the slowly boiling frog sort of thing. Yeah. Yep, it is getting out of hand. Take away. Good to see you again. See, this is the beautiful part about this. If you're new to this channel, return viewers you guys are great. They got those notifications on. They're checking in every now and then. Let's see. Junior the Ruffian. Let's see. My son didn't talk to me when I told him Asheville was being overlooked by the Biden administration. Yeah, it was. Asheville was left. They were left hanging out to dry. It was an absolute mess up there. I went over into parts of it just to a buddy of mine came over, and he brought some stuff actually from Charlotte. They brought some things to our area, diapers and hygiene products and all that kind of stuff. And we went out and saw some of the folks in the area and tried to help them out, what little we could do. Oh, I actually wear a t-shirt that says ex-lefty. Love the looks. I love this. Conversion from leftism is, it's glorious. I love it. People wake up, they really do. And the left, this is part of it. The left exists as long as, as long as people leave themselves uninformed. Leftism sounds great, right? Socialism, communism, all that stuff sounds great. But the minute people start paying attention, the minute they wake up, just like you did, you're like, no, this ain't right. Wait, what in the world was I following? Oh, thank you so much, Jennifer. I appreciate it. We love having you here. It's fantastic. You are welcome here. Yeah, that's it. Well, guys, I know we train to standard, not to time, but I have come upon an hour. And guys, I am really sorry if I overlooked anybody's comments. Gary did a great live stream of Joe Tucker interview last night. Okay, I just saw this one, Ben. I'm going to check that one out. I'll have to take a look at Gary's. I like watching Gary's show, and I shout out the people that help me out, that have had me on, that have great shows as well. So if you're not listening, Gary over at Paramount Tactical, go over and watch his show. He's got a great channel, does a great live stream, has some amazing guests. If you're new here, that's Paramount Tactical. Jay Witt is another one that has a great podcast. So there's a collection of folks. Another guy I've been involved with, or not involved with, but that I have been watching is Rage Bronson. He's got a great show. Some people would say it's a dumb idea to send people to other channels, but no, that like if there's people with good ideas that are having honest conversations, I want you all to be exposed to them as well. Like there's some good channels out there, and a lot of them are smaller channels. Get away from the Tucker Carlsons and the Candace Owens of the world. They've grown, their egos are inflated as high as their channels, and now they're just on these grifter tracks where they're lying to people. It's wild. So there's honest brokers out here who are trying to give people good information and give them, honest feedback and honest analysis. And I'm going to pitch them every time I come across them. So there you go. Oh, no, I never was. I've never been a lefty. I was talking about somebody else. I have never been a lefty. I can be now. I've been middle of the road, but as I've gotten older, I've moved more and more conservative. Which is how most people do it. But yeah, no, I was talking about somebody else. I've never been a lefty. I've been pretty consistently conservative. So, thank you so much, Fran. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Yeah, here you go. Ben put it in the comment section. Let's see. You would love I would love for them to present an answer to a solution, but they have none. Ron's diet of history and eternity. Yeah, there's never solutions with those folks. There aren't. There are never solutions. And they, there's no money in solutions. It's like having good news stories. I have some, I know that I haven't touched the Sunday special thing, but that's what I'm trying to do with these Sunday specials that I am really trying to get going, is we've got to understand that there's bad stuff in the world. We're going to talk about it. We're going to get a perspective on it. We're going to discuss it. I'm going to try to inform you guys as much as I can. But we've also got to, it is so important to consume some good, relatively positive content. And that is, I feel like that's just, it's sorely missing, and it doesn't sell. They'll never do as well because, rage sells. But I have a vision for this channel, guys, that you're going to get an eclectic collection of content, both political, cultural. Here's the bad stuff. Here's the things we have to look out for. Here's the people lying to us. And then some good stuff, because Lord knows we need that. That's right. Great channels. Yes, indeed. Thank you all so much for being here. Okay. With that being said, I'm going to call it quits for tonight. I appreciate you guys. And if you are new here and you haven't done so, I had comments covering it up. Hit all those free buttons below. Welcome to the channel to all the new people. If you're still hesitant, you won't regret hitting that subscribe channel. What's the worst, or that subscribe button? What's the worst that could happen? You get tired of me one day and you just stop watching. But hopefully I can keep you guys entertained and informed. You guys are great. One of the best chats on the internet right here. I'm telling you, the best chat on the internet. God bless you guys. God bless America. Lord willing, I will see you tomorrow for another show. Have a fantastic, fantastic Thursday night. God bless, guys.